Alright, we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between a 2D shape and a 3D shape. You will see on a 2D shape you have two axes, an X, which is the horizontal, and a Y, which is the vertical. On a 3D shape you have three axes, an X, a Y, and then a Z. Now if this was a 3D printer, your X and your Y would be your bed, the X and the Y. The Z is the up and down. So this allows something to be 3D when you have three axes that you're showing. Now I want to show you the difference when we look at a square. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a square, which is a 2D shape. And this, I'm going to use my straight edge ruler, and it's nice and clear so you can see if it lines up. So I'm going to draw just a square. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I want to go 8 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to make my little ending point there, a mark, and I'm going to connect dot to dot with my ruler. Do the same thing here. I'm going to come down to this corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to come down from dot to dot, making a straight edge. And then of course I'm going to connect my dot to dot along the bottom like this. And now I've got a perfect square using my straight edge to draw that is along the X and the Y axes. Now a cube is a little bit different because we have that Z going at an angle. So I'm actually going to make my square a little bit smaller because I made this one a little too big. And so I'm going to do this one with 4. I'm going to make it half the size. So I'm going to do 4 squares. And I'm going to start by still drawing this square. And I'm going to go from 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go from here point to point. So now I'm just going to draw a 4 square. 1, 2, 3, 4 going to this point. I'm going to connect my point to point. From here to here, connect my point to point. And from here to here, connect my point to point. Now, the trick here is that your Z goes at an angle. And I must apologize because when I was making these notebooks, I was adjusting the grid shape and I did not do it perfectly square. Normally, your ruler should intersect at each of the corners. So if this angle goes from this corner to this corner, it should do that on the next square and the next square and the next square. And as I've been making this video, I've been finding out that that is not the case. So we're going to do the best we can. I'm going to use these first two corners of the square to angle my Z. So I'm going to use those first two, and then I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back only 2 squares, like this. Okay, and you're going to see in the next video that I got a little confused, and that is why, or in the next video clip, because the squares are not lined up. So again, my deepest apologies, but we will still get the idea here. Okay, so now I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to just use this first one to make my angle in that first square so that it is parallel to this one. And I'm going to go back to the second line, just like I did on this one. So I'm going to go to this line right here, and I'm going to angle it with the exact angle that the first one had. So notice that they are parallel. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to use my ruler and use the 2 corners of the square to angle it. And I'm going to go back 2 lines. So I'm going to go back to here. All right. All right. Now I'm going to connect my points in the back of the cube using my straight edge, and I'm going to make this one go down too. Looks like that first line I went over a little bit. No big deal. We are all learning how to sketch. So this would be my X right here. This would be my Y, and this is my Z line. So this is the best place to start if you're learning how to sketch. Try and draw a cube first, and then we will graduate to drawing a chassis.